I'm Nadia Daggett, and I'm going to be talking to you today about how to sell, how to flip, and also how to make money off of short-term rentals. Whether it's a nightly, midterm, or long-term rental, I'll go over the process of this. So let's get started. So buying a short-term rental, so there's a few different things, like what a corporate rental is versus an Airbnb. A corporate rental, that we call it, is defined as 1 to 3 months, sometimes 6 months. And right now in this environment here in Florida, we're seeing 9 months or more because of the displacement of a lot of people during the flood. So corporate rentals are mainly monthly. You can think about it like that. And Airbnbs are mainly nightly or weekends. So that's the difference between the two. I prefer the corporate rental strategy because higher occupancy and less damage to the homes. So that's really where our focus is with investing in Florida. Is the management is focused on corporate rentals. So what's the best place? I'm going to be talking about the location and the property style and where you should buy it. Price ranges, what is a good way to get the right prices to make the most ROI out of the property, and furnishing, how to get it furnished, funding, which is the biggest part of it, and frequently asked questions. So let's go ahead. So let's talk about the corporate rental versus Airbnb. So the biggest thing, the difference between a corporate rental and an Airbnb, VRBO, is occupancy. So like I was saying before, it's a corporate rental is mainly monthly, and an Airbnb, VRBO is typically nightly or weekends, and the occupancy is a little lower. So when you're talking about corporate rentals, you're seeing more of monthly, and the occupancy is 30 days, could be 6 months, could be 9 months, and your occupancy is that 100% during that monthly period. If you do an Airbnb weekly, you're seeing usually Thursday through Monday. And that's where your occupancy is lower, because Monday you're turning the property, you're cleaning it, and then you don't get your next guest until the weekend. So those are the ones that we prefer, would be the corporate rental strategy. The tenant type is usually different as well. So on corporate rentals, we're usually seeing traveling nurses. We see more executives. We work with a lot of different corporations here in Florida. So we contact them monthly, show them what properties we have available, and they send their tenants to us. These are big corporations such as the airports, oil fields, many different corporations there. What we see different is when there's a corporate rental, we're seeing people take care of the property. They're usually in town working. They're not there until at night, and they take care of your property as if it's their own. There's some that work from home, but usually it's corporations that are in there to take care of your house. Versus having Airbnb nightly, VRBO, usually those are people that are there to see family, have parties, there to vacation, and they usually have a lot of parties, and they figure, well, somebody will clean up after me, and then don't really take care of your property. So that's why we like the corporate rental strategy versus the short-term rentals, nightly rentals. Even if it didn't have to do with occupancy, it's really the tenant type. Because there is a lot of property damage, what you see with Airbnbs or whatnot, because usually they come in, I see a lot of them where they damage the linens. We're usually turning those over. Just a lot of trash. They leave the place a little messy, and that's why a lot of places are not really that excited about having Airbnb and VRBO. They're giving a bad name to short-term rentals, where corporate rentals, on the other hand, are more for business people coming in the area, staying for a period of time. We do have snowbirds. Those are older people that also take care of the property. Insurance claimants, people that are in your property while their property gets cleaned, and they understand that they want to take care of that property. But the one thing that we do is we understand that the biggest part of having a short-term rental is keeping your occupancy high. So with the corporate rentals, we have, say, 30 days before the next tenant. So they have to give us a 30-day notice. So we have 30 days to find that next tenant. So we're trying to put it right for the next day. And I'd say a lot of them right now, this month especially, a lot of them are same day turnovers. And they move out in February 15th. I have a few of them on February 15th. And then that same night, the new tenant moves in. So it's very easy, but say there's a few days in between, I vet the tenant, I make sure they're not there partying, and I may throw in a short-term rental to keep your occupancy higher. So mixing them is the highest occupancy to keep those going. And those are only for properties that allow less than, the weekly turnaround. So property location, this is a big thing as people are buying the properties. So property location style. In contrast to Airbnbs, those are typically on the water. You want pools, you want entertainment, you want that feeling there. Corporate rentals, on the other hand, are more in a larger population. So we're looking more of downtown Tampa, near large corporations like the airports are big ones. So people coming in, they want to come off the airplane and stay. And also, the biggest thing I would say is getting 3 to 4 bedrooms, because they want to have either their family come with them or they're traveling with traveling nurses. Those are great. But if you have a 2-bedroom or 1-bedroom, traveling nurses do good too. But I do see a lot of demand right now for 3 and 4-bedroom homes. And I'm saying that also because of the environment, again, that we're in with the flood, because people are displaced. So they're looking for homes during this time. This is probably going to go for the next year to 2 years, I would say, because right now we're filling in with a lot of different companies that are working in the area, and then the insurance claims are putting them in our properties. But right now we have in some of our properties, we have some of the contractors. So it's overwhelming with the amount of need for these corporate rentals right now. The other thing we want to look for is good parking for the corporations and no HOA, because HOA may allow short-term rentals right now, or say monthly right now, but then somebody may come in and mess up the property and that destroys it for everybody. So we usually say try to stay away from condos and HOAs if you're looking to purchase. How about the price range? Price range does matter. You can do price range that gets the highest ROI would be 150 to 300,000. You could do some rehab, but doesn't need to be perfect. The inside does not need to be perfect, because you want the furnishings to really catch their eye. You want them to look at it and go, oh, wow, this is nice. I'm going to stay there. It's going to be good. But they're not really worried about a scratch on the wall. Of course, we want to make sure that it's in good shape so that the tenants don't worry about having to take claim on any of the damage on the walls or anything that's worrisome. So we do try to clean everything up, but the walls and things like that, they don't have to be perfect. They're really looking at the furnishings. And one of the best ways, if you're buying a short-term rental, is to look for ones that are hard to sell. So they're kind of clunky. They're hard to sell to a typical owner because everybody's looking for that open space. So if you're looking for your highest ROI, you could find cheaper properties where it's not selling on the market because maybe the rooms are a little closed in or whatnot, like the hallways are not big and open, not an open platform for them. So you can find properties like that are hard to sell and then make it beautiful inside with the furnishings. But furnishings really matter. If you go with the furnishings from grandma that was left from when you bought it, those really hurt the turnaround. So this is a great opportunity to do the 150 to 300,000, which we are finding off market right now, especially flooded homes, things like that. Those are great. But then you can also look at a separate side of it, and that's the luxury. So if you look in the $500,000 range on the beach, you can really, or even in North Tampa, I like Wesley Chapel because there's so many businesses there, go really high. Actually, Wesley Chapel is one of our highest renting properties right now. That's going for $8,000 a month, and it's a 3-bedroom, and it was purchased around $500,000 in that area. So they're making a good amount of income for that property. And when you really design it nice, make it look nice, make it look classy, that's where you're going to get the higher income. So that's where it gets into furnishings. You want to make it look comfortable and cozy. You don't want to have a bunch of small items in the unit, so you don't want to have a bunch of knickknacks. You want to make it look big and classy and very easy for somebody to move in. The rule of thumb usually is larger than a volleyball. So to make sure that everything is not just a bunch of knickknacks. We usually get them from consignment shops because once they move in, your first guest, it's already used. So I've had some owners, landlords, they bought a property, they furnished it with brand new furniture, and just to have the first tenant put scratches all over the counter, or all over the, not counter, all over the dining table. That is hard to take, but also we go ahead and charge the tenant. So when we charge the tenant, you do get to buy new stuff, but it is hard when you're buying brand new stuff and then you get scratches on it and things like that. So I usually do consignment. You can buy it for half the price. Looks just as beautiful. You get some of those markers and make sure that you don't see a bunch of scratches on it, and it is beautiful for the tenants. Pricing with the $300 referral. So if you were to do, say, a 3-bedroom, usually it costs to furnish it between $7,000 and $9,000 to get everything in there, from the forks, the knives, everything, the toilet paper, everything to move in, including the beds, the linens, and everything. It's usually that amount of cost. And we have some examples that we can show later. But if you do refer anybody to us, we do give you guys a $300 referral as well for referring clients to us. Funding, but how do you fund these? We usually have multiple different lenders. We have Jason Chavez you can contact. He does conventional, he does income properties, and he does loans based on project rents. And those are the DSCR loan as a whole. The DSCR loan you can buy as a turnkey. So if you find that turnkey property, you can use that loan so that you can fund it, and you don't have to worry about it being a single family residence or anything like that. This is for investment properties. You also can use bridge loans to do the like flooded homes or projects that take a little extra to get it up and going. You get a bridge loan, which we have contacts for that, and then you refinance into the DSCR for long-term for your investment property. So what does hosting include? So when we're doing the hosting, we advertise, so you can tell your clients, we advertise on over 20 sites. So we advertise on, of course, Airbnb, VRBO, all the little short-term rentals, but we also do Zillow and MLS, which really gets those buyers in between selling and buying, or sellers in between. So you're finding a lot of different people versus just Airbnb and VRBO. When we post on the short-term rental platforms, we do put it there as a month or longer. So we get those tenants that are looking longer. We do 24-hour communications. Sometimes we're up at 2 in the morning because somebody can knock it in the door. So we are there for that, so that you don't have to do it, or the landlord doesn't have to do it. We manage the cleaning and we manage the maintenance as well. So as tenants may contact us and say the water's overflowing, we'll get there and we'll make sure it's taken care of before it gives any damage. If you want to help out with the maintenance, we go ahead and contact you, or we contact our preferred vendors. So we do that for the hosting as well. And so those are the main things there on how to do the corporations and do the corporate rentals. So frequently asked questions that I get from tenants: what are the average rents that you get from the properties? And a rule of thumb that we always went with before was $1,800 for a studio. We usually do $2,500 for a 1-bedroom. We're around $3,200 for a 2-bedroom, $38 to $42 for a 3-bedroom, and we're up, depending on the size or whatnot, we start getting into square footage, but it starts climbing from there. If you have a nice luxury home, we start getting into $8,000, pool, and over 3,000 square feet, you're starting to get into that luxury side. The typical ROI, oh, sorry, I skipped over one. So who are the typical tenants? We're usually doing snowbirds, insurance claimants, people traveling, down here for business. A lot of people right now moving to Florida, just looking for a home, which is great because we're also helping them buy the home. And we also have executives we work with, corporations that we fill, and it's just so many people here in Tampa that we're able to do that with. What's a typical ROI? Typical ROI that I'm seeing on corporate rentals right now are between 20% and 35%. That's pretty standard. If you're looking at long term, we're usually at 7 or 8%. But the short-term rental ROI, including paying for the utilities, including all the expenses, we're still seeing over 20% to 35%. Are you guaranteed a tenant? Absolutely not. Nobody's guaranteed. We wish we could, but we usually have tenants. The first one that we do is usually hard. Getting people to move in without any reviews is our hardest time. So we usually try to get somebody in there, even somebody that knows the landlord, to stay in there to give a review is huge. But once we get that first tenant, we get a review, we have another 30 days to find the next tenant. And usually it's progressive. We have a few of our landlords, say like Anne, she's one of our agents as well. We've almost been 100% occupied. I think we had 1 month over the last 2 years that we struggled finding a tenant. But since then it's been occupied 100%. And everyone else, usually our occupancy is very high. Will there be vacancies? Well, you will have some vacancies. We have had some, we worked with sports agents and a few others where they didn't give us the 30-day notice. And come the next month, they tell us, oh, they're leaving. They're like, okay, you have to leave, but you still have to pay your month's rent. So we do have maybe a vacancy, but we still have that month paid for to the landlord until we find that next tenant. That doesn't happen too often where we have them leave early, but we do have it every once in a while, maybe 10 days. We did have it once for a month where they paid for the month, but they didn't give a 30-day notice. So we held on to that month's rent until we could find that tenant. If we do work with them, so if we can find a tenant quicker, we try to make it right for both parties. But we try to keep the vacancies down. That's where our biggest part of the corporate rentals is keeping that landlord's occupancy high. So another thing too is with, I'm going to go back here real quick, is with our agents here at Investing in Florida. If you are passing any of these, you can tell them about our hosting. You can tell them about how, if they're looking to buy, you can help them with the funding and then help them with the hosting. And if you bring any of your clients to Investing in Florida and we start the hosting process with you, we will give a referral fee. But not only a referral fee, but we like to have our agents work with these landlords long term. So there's a percentage that we give to the agents, and that percentage goes to managing that landlord. So we want you guys to be able to work with them. And if it's something you're not interested in, we could have another agent do. But mainly what we're trying to do is to get you guys to meet with them at least every 6 months. Every quarter is better, but meet with them, go over asset management, see how their properties are doing, make sure that they're occupied, make sure that they're making the income that they want. If they have any issues, that you can relate to us to try to help make their experience better and their occupancy higher. But that's where the agents make a percentage from us hosting it and then you doing asset management. So if you're interested in bringing doors, we call it, or bringing landlords to the brokerage, we can offer that percentage to you too. But this comes with a little bit of work. We provide you with the rental reports. We provide you with the rent rolls so that you can go over this with your landlord at least quarterly to make sure that everything is successful. The last thing we want is to have one of the properties on there, it's not turning really well, it got a bad review and it's just not working. Well, maybe we could sell that one and buy something that's better, make something that works. And then, everybody's win-win at that point. So that is something that we offer to our agents, and we'd love to do that as well. Okay, so do you guys have any questions? I see a few of you guys on here. And just want to see if you guys have any questions with corporate rentals and what they are and how you can make some income from it as well. And I see Min and Vika, and I know Maya was here earlier.
No, I think that was really good.
Okay. And then if you have any questions on corporate rentals, like, and I know Vika's been working this forever, working with Min and a few others, developing. So you really got a handle on it. But if you guys have any questions about good locations,
Yeah,
go ahead.
I want to ask about the location, like with the, because, like I really want to get couple more for my own, and then I have a couple of friends, they want to do that also.
Oh, great. Yes. Yeah, let's talk quickly about where to do the Airbnbs. I'm just going to bring up a Google, not Airbnbs, but corporate rentals. I'm going to bring up Google Maps real quick.
Cái gì đang cháy á?
It's really slow here. Let's see if we can do that. Go. So right now, one of the best places I would say, there's two different strategies, like I was kind of going over, two different strategies to the corporate rental. One is the luxury, and one is to more of the, I like to call it more of the commuter, more of the company properties. So when you're looking at luxury, you want to look at places, North Tampa is really good, up in Wesley Chapel over here. If you're looking for on the beaches right now are great, because a lot of people, and it's horrible to think, but a lot of those people have beautiful homes. They took care of their homes. They like the luxury, and then it got flooded. So anything inland right now that are really priced well, like in Seminole or inland on Indian shores, if you're making it luxury, all those people are looking that are displaced, they're going to stay at your property for at least the next year to 2 years. Then after that, you always have the snowbirds, you have a record, you have ratings, and you just keep flowing with it. On those, being next to hospitals are really good because you get the traveling nurses. You can do multiple different strategies with traveling nurses, where you get, say, a 4-bedroom, but you put locks on each door. And as traveling nurses come in, you can rent it by the door. Or you can get smaller, like 1 or 2 bedrooms, where traveling nurses travel by themselves or with a friend. So those are really good. That's a good strategy. But then there's a lot of people that are snowbirds, or they're having insurance claims. So around good school districts, those there that are in really good school districts, and then they have flood or they have property damage, they have to stay in that school zone so that they can keep their kids there in that area. So they are always being displaced, and they're looking for a short-term rental in that area. That's a good one that I'm speaking right there about, like Hyde Park area. I've had a few properties in there, and I always had the families that were displaced due to property damage or whatnot. So they'd always stay in the property for, say, 4 months, 3 or 4 months. And then we'd have snowbirds. We'd have a lot of sports athletes too, because you have all downtown, you have the hockey, you have St. Pete, you have the soccer and the baseball. So, and around spring training fields, those are really good as well. So around places where they have baseball or soccer spring training, like right now in Clearwater, I'm working with one, and they have the Cincinnati soccer team spring training down there. So we have one of their players in one of the short-term rentals. I know for you, we have one of the people that are down here for work on your properties. Your property is beautiful. Oh my gosh. And we droned it today, and it's right there on Sunset. It is absolutely beautiful. And finding the right tenant, because it's kind of away from Tampa, and it's kind of up here. So finding the tenant has to be somebody that works in that area or is working from home. So that one's a little bit tougher than if you buy downtown Tampa because you're going to have so many people that you'll be able to pull from.
Oh. So you think that if downtown Tampa and close to the airport and hospital will be the best?
The best, yeah. So if you come down here, and I threw out a bunch of different ideas, but yeah, right down here is really nice. I would say over here in Town and Country, if we can find good properties in there, Seminole, Hard Rock Cafe, they're always having employees doing turnarounds on there, so that keeps the occupancy high. In here, in this area here, I have a lot of short-term rentals. So I'm just going to zoom it in so I can show you. But like Seminole Heights, Southeast Seminole Heights and College Hills, these are not the best areas. These are rough. So people are finding properties for low prices, but a lot of the people, as long as it looks safe in the area and the road is nice, you can still rent it out for very good prices. We have one right there for sale, and it rents out for $4,500 a month, and it's a 3-bedroom, and it's really nice. And I believe she bought it for under $200,000. So a lot of these places right in this area were low price points when buying it into it. However, everything is getting built up. A lot of investors are buying in that area. So over time, you're going to see not only good income from the rentals, but also from the assets increasing. So those are nice. But also Town and Country over in this area, this is really good. You'll find a lot of good properties there. But when you get over here, you're seeing all these flooded homes, and it is just everybody selling, and they're going to be absolutely gorgeous. I know Vika has one for sale that is in Clearwater that if we were to, she's talking about possibly building up. And if it were to be built up, they use the bottom for, for storage, for garage, and they build on top of that. It's going to be absolutely beautiful that if you bought into that, and then that's going to be income property, 11,000 or more. We have a property down here in Gulfport, and it's not on the beach. It's right down here, and it's on this little area right about here. And this one's going for 11,000 a month. It has a little under 4,000 square feet and has a pool. It's a 2-story, so only the bottom floor got a little bit of water damage. It's all cleaned up. That one's was very, very high. We have another one. This is a neat strategy. There was a fourplex here. I think it's right about there. And that one is renting for $3,200 a month, and it's just a little studio. So it's great. And I'm going to try to log in here so you can see the where all the properties are. Let's see if I can get in here for you. But there's a lot of different strategies that people have on getting these. Oh, it doesn't show it, does it? Let me see if I can zoom in on it here. Let's see. There we go. Okay. So in here, these are all our little corporate rentals. And you'll see like different areas that are higher. Like in this area, we rent those out really well. These are our properties right here that are renting at good income. And then we have this one way out here. This is the one that's renting for about 8,000 a month. And it's been so successful for the last 2 years. Like I said, it's been less than a month that they've had it vacant. So that one's been doing really good. We have a few in the middle there. This one in Copper Springs, which is just north of yours on Sunset, has been continually occupied. We just had to get that first tenant for reviews. I think now it's kind of off. Now it's ready to go. But you can see kind of where the properties are really going. This one is really good right here. It's a little duplex, but it's right next to St. Pete, right next to St. Pete Yacht Club, right next to downtown where there's, you also have the hospitals here. This is a great area in St. Pete as well. So if you can find those, not expensive properties, which is hard, but those are going really good as well. So yeah, I would say downtown Tampa is absolutely the easiest one to rent out. But then you have the Pinellas County where it's nice to be able to find tenants that are, especially that are, traveling nurses, sports athletes, and then of course the displaced. So those are easy to get them occupied. The one that I have people fighting for this property right here, because all of these people on the beaches here were displaced. So they're looking for something close enough that they can work on their home and still get over. And we're going to have that for a long period of time because you're going to have some properties that have to be torn down and rebuilt because of the substantial damage letters. So it's going to be going for a while, and who knows what our future is on the beaches. Everybody's talking about building up, putting dirt in there, building the leveling up the properties. So I think there's going to be a lot of construction out there for the next few years. So anything in this area is great as well for those tenants.
So can you like circle in the area you think is it for me? So I can
Yeah, I would say where you see the the blues, those are the ones that are very successful. Even the ones in South Tampa down here, those are all really successful. I would say where you see Trinity and Odessa up here, where there's nothing in that area, those are harder because there's just not a lot of workers or work around that area. Up here, where you have up here, you have North Tampa. You have so many businesses. You have all the business districts in that area. Those I have a lot of people. Oh, the other one is right here. This one is Vivian Apartments is okay, but in this area where you're next to University, if you can come over a little bit to the left, I don't know if I can draw on here. If there's a pin. But if you come over like over in Lake Magdalene area, you'll find some really nice homes. But if you can get it close to USF, right next to where you have the Moffitt Center, we have a lot of, we're connected with Moffitt Center. So we handle a lot of people that are coming in for treatment, and they're there for 3-4 months, up to 6 months, and that really is a great thing for them because they don't have a lot of play. They don't want to stay in a hotel, so they stay a lot in there. So that's a great place. But there's a lot of low income places, of course, around the university too that we want to stay away from. But over to the left of 275, North Hills over there, beautiful area, and finding those nice properties that are in good areas. But what I can do is I'll go ahead and I'll make a map and I'll do some circles. And then what I can do is send them to you guys so you guys have a better understanding where to send your clients and where you should invest. One that I really want was one I visited today, which Vika, I really want to look at this one myself, was the one on Lemon Street. That you have. It's just a little bit south of or east of your 1414 Golf. And that one there is the cutest little thing, 2-bedroom or it's a duplex. And there's so many people that do go to that area as well, but more for that we're still going to be dealing with the floods and things like that. But it's close over here on this side. That over by the Tarpon Springs, by the Sponge Docks, you have a lot of people going to that too. That's
what address is it?
Oh, it's yours. It's on Lennon. The one I visited today.
Oh, mine. Oh, okay. Yeah.
So
Okay.
cute.
Yeah.
So
it's
cute.
cute.
They redid the bathrooms. It's adorable. So I really think that's a great property for investors. I talked to the neighbor. Yeah. The neighbor has it's a 4-plex, and the upstairs she's still
Ira.
Yeah, it's not.
He
flooded.
knows me. Did you mention that he
She goes, oh, Vika.
Yes.
And but she said, her rentals are the one she's still working on, but the other one, it was going so good, and so that's really good. But those are more Airbnb style and less corporate rentals that I'm seeing up there because you have the Sponge Docks, things like that. So the beaches, and so it's a little bit harder to find that long-term tenant, but that's a beautiful property. I loved it. That was really cool.
Yes, thank you.
So I'm gonna take this area and I'm gonna make some circles for everybody so we can really zoom in on where to buy and where to focus on. And I'll also label them to be what kind of clients I'm finding out of those areas so that you know where you want to direct your attention to. There's a lot of different strategies you can do. At our next meeting, our investors and why meeting, we're going to talk about even buying some of the flooded properties out on the beaches and that needs that got the substantial letter that have to be knocked down. Let's look at buying that for land value and putting some tiny homes on there. They're nichey and they're renting out, and if you can do 2 of them on a property, that's huge. Mm-hmm. So then as things get straightened out, permits get approved, permits start smoothing and getting cleaner, then you could look at putting that on a piece of land inland, and you can build up for your $1 million property. So there's all kinds of strategies, focusing on sports athletes, really designing the property to have, if it's around like youth soccer or youth hockey, the ones that are looking to go to the major leagues, those people are willing to spend a lot. The families and the community of hockey, they pay for the places, and you can find, you design it to that so that they have like massage chairs and they have hockey. You design the house to look like a hockey place for them. And of course, since they're youth sports that are going into the major leagues, you got to have, the Nintendo and all that stuff. But you can rent it out for really high income, and who you're going to get. So you can really niche out your properties to get those people. And then on those times that is slower for like spring trainings, not here in the winter, then you just change it around to do the snowbirds and other different, you niche it out to your different people that are coming in, the different tenants. So yeah, so that's a little bit. I'll get a map together for you guys, and then for all of us agents, so that we can really zoom in on the properties. But right now there are a lot of properties off market, and we're just getting more and more every day. So we're let's definitely try to get some of those properties for ourselves and for our clients and grow that portfolio. So cool.
Thank you, Nadia.
All righty, guys, nice seeing you, and we'll keep I'll get this out to you. I will share this, and then on the bottom I'll have a map so we can really zoom in on
sounds good. Thank you.
All right, talk to you soon.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Nadia. Bye.
All right, bye.